pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. In accordance with New Jersey State Statute 10:4-10, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to a newspaper of record and has been posted here in City Hall. The meeting is a judicial proceeding, and any questions or comments must be limited to the issues that are relevant to what the board may legally consider in reaching a decision, and decorum appropriate to a judicial proceeding is required to be maintained. For the benefit of the interested public, this meeting is being live streamed to the city's YouTube page and also broadcast on Summit's governmental channel, which is Comcast 34 and Verizon Channel 30. There is also a transcript of this meeting being taken using the video and audio, so we need all speakers to use one of the microphones here in the room. Please note that the fire exits are to my right, your left, and at the back of the room. Mrs. Sulios, would you please call the roll of the members?
Sure. Chairman Steiner?
Here.
Vice Chairman Loikitz is excused. Mr. Yuko?
Here.
Mr. Nelson?
Here.
Ms. Zahn?
Here.
Mr. Curran?
Here.
Mr. Malay?
Here.
Ms. Toth?
Here.
Ms. Chifo?
Here.
Mr. Feskins is excused. Mr. Chanchuli?
Here.
You have a quorum. You may proceed.
Okay, a couple of introductions. Andy Ball is the zoning board's attorney. Stephanie Sulios is a city employee and the zoning board secretary. Ms. Sulios works with the applicants on preparing their applications, planning our agenda, and keeping our meeting minutes. Also present is Marie Raffi from Collier Engineering, our board's engineering firm, and she's seated at the table to our right. The audience is left. These experts provide input to the board, and they do not vote on the applications. Our board consists of 7 regular members and up to 4 alternates. All members can participate in the hearings tonight, but a maximum of 7 can vote. Most applications require a simple majority, and before we enter executive session to vote on the application, you will be advised exactly how many votes are required to carry your case. The case tonight will begin with the applicant or their attorney. Does not look as if you have an attorney, but I believe you have an architect. So the applicants will give us a quick review of the progress to date, and hopefully then turn it over to their architect to carry that. We will then hear from any other additional expert witnesses that you may have to explain the application. Once the board members and the professionals have completed their questioning, the public has an opportunity to ask questions. That's not the time that they will tell us what they think, but that will come a little bit later. Before you ask a question, anybody who's out there, which are right now none, please state your name, spell your last name, and provide your address. After all the witnesses have been heard, members of the audience have their second opportunity to speak, and that time they can express their opinion, positive or negative. Then the public hearing is closed, and we enter executive session where the board members will discuss the case and vote. You will be able to listen to our executive session, but you normally will not be able to participate in our discussion. Our city's zoning staff has asked that we remind all applicants that they must carefully read the resolution that documents the board's decision and to pay particular attention to the conditions that are contained in the resolution. If you have questions about any of those conditions, please consult with your experts or city staff through Ms. Sulios. The resolutions documenting the board's decision will normally be available 1 month after we decide the case. Now we're going to change the agenda a little bit slightly, and we're going to proceed right to our first case, which is Jordan Glassberg at 190 Kent Place Boulevard. If you would please come up. We're going to swear you in. We'll swear you both in so you can both talk.
If you could each raise your right hand. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give in this matters, the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
And then one at a time, please state your name, spell your last name.
Jordan Glassberg, Glassberg.
and Mridula Glassberg, Glassberg.
Thank you.
Okay, if you would give us a brief rundown of the case and what you're looking to accomplish here.
Sure. Thank you all for being here tonight. My name is Jordan Glassberg. This is my wife, Mridula. We have one son, Quinn, who's 3 years old. He goes to preschool here in Summit, just a few minutes away from here and from the house in Kent Place Boulevard. In 2020, when we found out that we were going to have our first child, we started looking for a community where we would be able to raise him together as a family. We found Summit. We absolutely love it because of the fantastic schools and the amazing community. As we went about our house search, we found Kent Place Boulevard. It's just a gorgeous street. We love the character of the homes, the friendly people that we met there. Last year, 190 Kent Place Boulevard came on the market. We saw it as an opportunity to move onto this great street in this great community. We absolutely love the home, but we felt that we could improve upon it so that it more fits in with the character of the other homes on the street as well as its functionality. So that's why we're here tonight. We absolutely love it here. We want to raise our son here. We want to stay here for a long time. And that's basically why we are applying for this variance. And with that, I'll introduce our architect, Dan Enshin, who can answer any questions you may have about our application. Thank you.
Okay, questions for the applicant? None? Okay, we will move on, and we're assuming that the architect will be presenting the whole case. And we would ask, only because of a time crunch, for one of our professionals that you give us the engineering testimony first, so we can ask those questions, and then we'll proceed with the rest. Okay, I believe we need to swear you in.
Yep. And I'll just note for the record, there's no members of the public still, so no public questions at this time. If you could please raise your right hand. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give in this matter, the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and spell your last name.
My name is Daniel Ensign. Last name is E-N-C-I-N. And I'm the owner and principal of Mendham Design Architects, located in Mendham, New Jersey. I've been a licensed architect since 2017. My license is in good standing, and I've presented in front of this board multiple times.
And licensed in New Jersey, correct?
Yes.
Any questions from the board, or would you like to accept his
Any
credentials?
questions? Seeing none, we'll accept your credentials, and please present the case.
Thanks. Is that my call?
And wherever you're comfortable.
The property is 190 Kent Place Boulevard. It's located in the R15 zone. The variances that are being requested and what is causing the issue is the required side yard setback and also minimum combined side yard setback. The existing property is approximately 60 feet wide. Looking on sheet A1, and these are all the same documents that you have in the application. The existing property is roughly 60 feet wide, and the required width in this zone is a minimum of 90 feet. And so it's a significantly undersized, narrow property for the zone. The existing house is 1950 split level that's on the property now. The current side yard setbacks are 8.2 and 7.3 feet. Looking at that, the total required or combined side yard is required at 35% and currently only has 25.8%. So it's an existing non-conforming property. The house is non-conforming as it is. In looking at the other homes along the street in terms of style of home, roof lines, and just the overall character of the street, and other kind of building elements that are present, the existing split-level design seems to be a bit of an odd duck on the street. It's, there are some Tudor-style homes, some, many colonial revival houses, lots of nice detailing with porches, dormers, other things that are kind of period elements of nice homes that you find throughout the neighborhood and in Summit, which are not present in this house. The proposed project or proposed work And just to give you a sense, this photograph is also in the zoning package you have. This is a picture of the front of the existing house. So it's a brick split-level house with an entrance towards the center. There is a kind of garage at the lower level with a mudroom and space behind it. There are bedrooms located above. And then you have your entranceway towards the center, and you have living room and other living spaces, kitchen and other things situated towards the left end of the house. So the proposed project and work is to construct a second-story addition above the existing entry and living area towards the left side of the house, which would then help to balance out the house a bit, also proposing to create a steeper roof line and to completely, essentially change the character of the exterior of the house to make it more consistent with the period home building roof lines of what you find along the street as opposed to a split level. At the lower level of the house where the garage and kind of mudroom and office area are, and then existing basement below, there's minimal proposed work other than interior renovations. There is an existing covered patio, a roofed patio at the back or the rear of the house, which is indicated by this dashed line, and the work is proposing to expand that 5 feet 3 inches towards the right-hand side to create a larger covered patio area so it's more usable for outdoor living space. At the first floor, again, the footprint of the house is staying the same. The existing living spaces are situated throughout. They're generally staying in the same locations, with some walls being removed and things being opened up. It's not an overly large house, and just really consists of a living area, and then towards the back where walls are being removed, kind of a combined kitchen and open dining area. There is a set of stairs coming off the foyer that, in the split-level setup, goes about a half story up to the right-hand side. Up to the existing bedrooms. Again, those 3 bedrooms are staying as they are, 2 bathrooms. And then what is proposed is there's an existing attic space above the living areas, and a new stair that would meet code is proposed going up, and then turning that upper attic area, putting a new roof line on it, getting some more space, and creating a primary suite with a primary bath and a walk-in closet up at that level to complement the 3 existing bedrooms that are down below. This is a front elevation facing towards the street. The proposed work, understanding that the existing house is non-conforming and approaching close to the over the required side yard into the setback area. The proposal is to create the second-story addition, set back an additional 3 feet and then some to be sensitive to the fact that we are already over and existing non-conforming over that property line. So the proposed setback on the left-hand side being 11.2 feet, and then on the right-hand side with the expanded covered patio, 11.1 feet, both of which are a larger or a greater amount set back than the existing houses from the property lines. So trying to stay as far away from the required side yards as we can, but still creating something that looks attractive and provides enough space. The proposed exterior of the house, it currently has a brick veneer that runs along the exterior that is a little bit difficult to work with in terms of adding on to the house and creating other things. And so the intention is to expand and create the new roof lines in other areas of the house with new siding materials, most likely a hardy plank cement board, and then painting out and washing the brick in order to have the same color, so it's no longer a red brick that stands out or accentuates the split level, but all kind of blends together into one consistent exterior for the house. at the sides and rear of the home. This is the left side of the home, so we're maintaining the existing roof line and existing chimney that are on the house currently, and then the new addition is proposed to be set back. We've split the addition into two opposing gables to keep the peak of the roof down. We're well below the required height requirement. I believe we're at approximately 32.1 feet in proposed height. And then from the other side of the house, on the right side, we've picked up with a steeper roof, and we can see these kind of twin gables protruding off to the edge. And at the rear, you can see the expanded covered patio area that comes 5 feet 3 inches to the side, or closer to the side yard than it is currently. So in looking at what we have, we are conforming with all the other zoning requirements. What's proposed is done in an attempt to create an attractive house, but also to respect those side yard setbacks as much as possible, but considering the hardship of the significantly reduced overall width of property that we have to work with here. And based on what's proposed and conforming with all the other requirements, and also the massing of what's created and the appearance blending with the other homes on the street, we feel that the benefit of what's being proposed far outweighs any kind of detriment based on those side yards.
Okay. Marie, do you have any questions?
So, could you talk about how much the increase in impervious coverage is for the property?
Sure. The increase in impervious coverage is fairly small. The only increase is the extension of that covered patio area, and I believe that is 117 square feet of proposed added impervious coverage.
Okay, so with 117 square feet of additional impervious coverage, there's no requirements for stormwater. But could you talk about where those gutters are going to be going? I noticed that on the photos, the gutters go underneath the ground. Do you know where they go to? The ones that are in the rear yard, where do they go to now, and where are they going to go to?
I don't know where they currently go to. I don't know.
City's storm, they go to the city's stormwater.
Okay. The ones in the rear yard go get routed to the
Even
front.
the front, actually, they all go into the city town's stormwater.
She's sworn.
Okay, so
Yes, they're both
Yes.
sworn.
what's that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
No, well, the question was whether-
Just checking.
I wasn't sure if they were both sworn in.
Yes, right, okay, all right, good, thank you. Okay, so, I don't have any further questions. It looks like there's gutters that you have going down into the same place.
We would be
that they are
tying
right
into
now?
the same subsurface piping that's there currently. And since we're not expanding the footprint of the house in any significant way, even though there are taller and different roof forms on it, the amount of overall surface area that we're covering and the rainwater that's going to come off of that is similar. So we weren't proposing to do anything different. We would tie into the existing leader pipes that are there now.
Okay. And I have no issues with that, so with that, I have no further questions on it.
Okay. One of our standard conditions is that we require you to accept all the conditions on the engineer's letter, which I hope you've had a chance to see.
Yes.
Is that acceptable to the applicants?
It is the, in looking.
It's in the package of reports.
Yeah. I've got
It's
it.
in the package of reports. I think it's the fourth page.
I mean, starting with number 9, on the engineer's list, applicant does not appear to be removing any trees as part of the proposed plan, and as it currently
I'm
sits.
sorry, can you speak a little louder?
Sure. Item number 9 on the engineer's report spoke about applicant does not appear to be removing any trees as part of the proposed plan. And that is correct. We are not, no trees
Okay.
are being proposed to be removed, so there's no issue from that end. Item number 10, the applicant shall be aware of their responsibility to repair any damage to improvements within the city right-of-way, including but not limited to the curb and asphalt caused by construction activities with the installation of the improvements, and not an issue from that condition. The applicant has not included on the plans the utilization of soil erosion and sediment control measures for the duration of construction. And it's not necessarily, I guess, saying as a condition, basic soil erosion and sediment control details would be included as part of a building permit application in the plans that we would be providing. Number 12, the applicant shall remove all excavated and excess soil from the site and shall not use excess soils elsewhere on site. And there's no issue with that,
Okay.
that condition either. Item number 13, the applicant shall be aware that if stormwater runoff damage problems occur on their property and/or neighboring properties because of the construction of the proposed improvements, it is the applicant's responsibility to remedy the drainage issue. Again, not an issue. As a condition of approval, signed digital plan shall be transferred to the City of Summit for use in updating the GIS database for the property. Coordination with the city's engineering department shall be the responsibility of the applicant after the application is approved by the city and prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. Also no issue with.
Okay, so you have no problem accepting this report? Okay. Any questions from the board members?
I do. Yeah.
He had his hand up first.
I just
Go
wanna wonder what kind of material is gonna be used. The same existing material will be expanded? I mean, the brick siding, or are you planning any changes?
The proposed materials are, so we have existing brick veneer that would remain and be washed or painted in the same color as the proposed siding to make the house look consistent, you know, in its entirety, as opposed to being two separate colors of the red brick and then another siding. So the proposed materials are the existing brick that would be washed, a 7-inch exposure hardy plank pre-finished cement board siding, painted AZEC trim for all of the exterior trim, simulated divided light windows on the outside, and then the proposed gutters and leaders are potentially a darker color pre-finished aluminum, and then the roofing would be most likely an upgraded slate look asphalt shingle.
Thank you.
I had a question about what appear to be sort of third-story windows, and I just don't see any plans for this window or this window. Can you tell us more about that space? And
Sure.
we don't have anything in our
Okay.
packet about it.
They're purely decorative. So the window that is above in the peak over the garage area and the bedrooms, in the construction plan, we would be over-framing that roof over the lower, smaller hipped roof that's there currently, just aesthetically to hide it and give it a consistent character. So that window would just be an unfinished attic space. Or actually, it's not attic space per se, because it's filled with another roof inside.
What's the
of it.
height of that space?
The height of the attic space within the existing is under 4 feet tall. It's a very shallow,
Okay. And what about in the new?
it's a very shallow, low hipped roof that would be concealed inside of that overframing. And then in this space up above at the top here, in this area, when we look from the side elevation, that does not, this is the primary bedroom suite here. There is, on the floor plan for that, this side facing window is in the primary bedroom suite. There's an 8-foot plate height from the second floor, and then the ceiling line pitches up to create a vaulted ceiling within the master bedroom space. And so there is no, again, that dormer is purely decorative from the exterior to balance out the roof and provide another point of interest to pull your eye upward on the house. So there is nothing behind that dormer, and this window from the side is directly exposed into the high wall in the master bedroom.
That's this window here. On the left side.
Yes, that is the left
Okay.
side elevation, correct.
But that's not, still not explaining the front I'm not understanding about the one in the front. Like, that's not on this drawing anywhere. That window is on this drawing, but we don't have the one.
Correct, because that window does not function as bringing light in. It's covered over. It's a dummy dormer, essentially. And so that, within this space, these are the windows of the primary bedroom suite, and the vaulted ceiling goes up into this peak and then comes down. This is purely an overframe dormer on that roof, so it would not show up in the floor plan because it's not coming into that room. And there is no, on a consistent kind of two-story home where you have maybe a large attic space above the ceiling, that's not the case in this area. This is the 8-foot plate height at this gutter, and as this gable roof slopes up, that forms the underside of that is the vaulted ceiling of the primary bedroom. So it's essentially a false dormer onto the
So
front.
that's, yeah, okay.
Yeah, there is no occupiable attic space or upper story above this space.
Is that little window over the front entrance, is that on the stairwell?
This window here? No, that window is in the, that window,
It's right in the corner of the room.
that window is in the, all three of these windows are into the primary bedroom suite. Yeah, the stairwell is set further back in, so there's really no way to get any light or window into there.
Back to that addition over the garage. So you're gonna have, basically you're building a rain roof.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
all that asphalt and all the shingles, plywood are staying inside the new.
The shingles will most likely get removed, just kind of not good to leave them in from a construction standpoint. But yeah, the sheathing, or portions of the sheathing and the rafters, just from a cost standpoint, since there's no kind of usable space there and there would be no way to access that space. And they have a large basement under the left side of the house. So that, yeah, that is purely, like you're saying, a rain roof or almost a hat on top of the existing roof that's there.
This really is not a requirement, it's just a suggestion
Mhm.
that you let the local fire officials know that roof is inside.
Okay.
Because they vent the bigger roof down
Mhm.
mid, it's not gonna help
Right, underneath.
inside.
Yes,
In the bedroom.
yes, definitely.
And hopefully they saw this plan, so they may not know that.
Tom?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Tom.
Okay. Just a couple of questions. The zoning officer asked for some testimony or asking the applicant to provide a survey of the property. Your sheet A1 does have a survey, which is less than a year old, so I'm wondering what the zoning officer is looking for. Do you have any idea what else? Okay.
The only thing that I could ascertain from that was potentially just a separate hard copy of the sealed survey, separate from what we had scanned and used as an underlay in our plan, and we do have a copy of that survey.
Can you maybe submit that just in case that's what
Yes.
they were looking for? Okay.
We'll make that a condition.
Does this survey show the distance from the rear property line to the house? I don't-
When you say this survey, do you
The
mean?
one on page A1, it shows the side yards, doesn't show the front, I mean, it gives the building envelope, but it doesn't show
The
distance
line.
from the rear yard to the back of the.
Yes, because it was such a long distance and so far away, it's listed within the zoning
Right.
table, but there's not a dimension, I haven't listed a dimension line on there.
I'm just gonna be very careful how I say this. I trust you, but you gotta verify. That's me anyway. okay?
Sure. Yeah, and we can add the rear yard, existing rear yard setback is 237 feet.
Yeah.
And the proposed is, with the little bit of addition to the covered patio, is
It still
234.1.
conforms, but,
Yeah.
maybe that's what they were talking about with the survey,
Mhm.
the dimensions are missing or something like that.
Yeah, and we can put a proposed dimension on there to our new footprint.
And the other question I had, the zoning officer also asked for testimony on measurements/dimension for the elevations, but one of your drawings at least had the elevations.
And I
on
think
there.
maybe they had just missed that, because,
Okay.
yeah, we specifically calculated the grade plane, and then that's how we got the proposed height to the highest point of the peak of the roof. And so that dimension is on the exterior elevation.
So you did provide testimony, it is on the elevation side?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Okay. A couple?
Claire?
The zoning officer had also asked for testimony that the well-shielded AC unit is well-shielded, and it sure was this afternoon. But somebody has to testify to that.
Yeah. And I'll let the owners
Okay.
testify to that since they are in the house.
Yes, the AC currently,
Yeah,
yes, the AC currently is well shielded and will
thank you.
continue to do
Yes.
that.
And I know, again, I know the answer to this, but let's get it on the record that on your elevations, the dotted lines are the existing roof lines,
That is correct.
which is
The-
always really helpful to see. Thank you. And just finally, when you're talking about the color that the bricks and the hardy plank are going to be, is there been, it sounds like perhaps there isn't a final decision, but have you got a sense of what color we're talking about?
There isn't a specific decision in terms
Okay.
of color, just that there wants to be kind of a consistency
Okay.
between the brick and the siding.
Okay, I'm going to try something here. Does anybody have any other questions that would affect the engineering department? Okay, then Marie, we can excuse you to go on to New Providence. Okay, any other questions for the architect? Anybody in the audience have questions? Okay, I don't see any. Any other witnesses, or is he the only one?
No other witnesses.
Okay. Now I'm supposed to ask the public what they think of it. Again, no one here to answer that call. At this point, we will move into conditions, number of votes, and then executive session.
Absolutely. So we have two conditions, as already discussed. First is our usual compliance with those conditions noted in the board engineer's memorandum. And then second, that the applicants will provide that copy of the survey of the property. This is just C variances involved, so we would need 4 votes to approve the application.
Okay, moving into executive session, who would like to kick it off?
I will.
Okay,
I'm happy to support this. I mean, I did walk through around the property. It is definitely a difficult project to try to figure out how to expand it. It's a small house. I don't think you're asking for anything that is, outrageous. I think it's going to look nice with the other houses on the street. And even incorporating, sort of modernizing the split level look, it looks great. So.
I too can support this one. As the forester noted, the property's very well shaded or screened to the left, the double lot, and on the right, you've got the next door neighbor's driveway to give you a little extra buffer to get before you get to the next door neighbor's house, so that this modest addition isn't going to impinge on the neighbors. And I think, given the limitations of the property, it's a pretty elegant solution to adding some additional living space.
Yeah, I'll just add that the size and massing is consistent with the neighborhood, and I think the property can accommodate it without any hardship or any negative impact on any of the neighbors.
anyone on this side like to say anything? If not, I will say that I don't see any negatives to this. I see the potential for some positives that they've outlined, which should be helpful to the neighborhood, and they should have an enjoyable house when they're finished with it. So, based upon what I've heard, I would accept a motion to approve the application.
I motion.
Is there a
Second.
There you go. Okay.
Is Allison going to be voting on the application this evening? So we should have a motion just come from a voting member.
I'll make a motion to move this.
Thank you. Okay.
Second.
Sorry.
Change the motion.
Mr. Yuko?
Yes.
Mr. Nelson?
Yes.
Ms. Zahn?
Yes.
Mr. Kieran?
Yes.
Mr. Malay?
Yes.
Ms. Toth?
Yes.
Chairman Steiner?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The resolution will be done in about a month. We have three other cases that are in administrative status. We'll start with Peter and Kristen Toole, who have requested that we carry it. Can you outline what went on there?
Sure. So they had asked to carry the application because they're not ready at this current time to proceed. They're reevaluating what they want their plan to be. They're considering some expansion as well. So they asked for an August 5th carry date.
Okay.
Well, that was what they said when they asked for today.
Correct.
I mean, is it that the architect hasn't finished the plans, or?
I haven't gotten any further update other than they're still.
I thought their carry date was September in the notice that we got. I think it was a different site that was August 5th. Was it not? I'm just going to check my email here.
One second. No, it's August 5th.
Yeah, I think September may be West End.
September 4th was West End.
Okay.
Correct.
How do we think about kind of multiple changes and taking spots from maybe other people, and ending up like tonight is one versus multiple?
We've discussed this and haven't really come to a consensus on it. Again, the people have to have, it doesn't, the only thing we could do is we could reject it out of hand, as I understand. And if we do that, then they have to refile with all the fees, all the escrows, all of that over again. And that might be a little bit onerous on some people, and is that what we want to do? So, you know, like, they have an application in the mill. If they show up and they don't have all the stuff that they need, they would show up, they would make half a case and say, we need to adjourn this case till we can have the rest of our architect, or whatever it is that they can do. So I think we're sometimes better off letting them postpone it and let us hear the whole case in a shorter period of time.
Okay, for this case, 10 Waldron, what was the date of the first time, Stephanie?
It was early spring, it was chilly.
It was either March or April. I'm not, I have to look for the.
So, I mean, my concern with this is, one, we know it's already, I don't know if it's completed what the project was, the original one, not the one that they want to expand. It was completed, they had a stop order, right? I mean, and then they had to file the application.
It's completed. I don't even think there was a stop order.
It was completed, okay. I don't know what happened inside the house.
Yeah.
Well, was it completed, or
From the
maybe the
outs-
work was
The
completed,
the
but it was
dormers are
without
there.
permits?
The dormer's
Yeah,
there, so I'm not sure
Right,
what's
but it's
inside.
without permits.
Yes.
Right.
Is that right? Yeah.
And then they tried delaying it because they're saying that they want to get some more work done to apply to add on to the application. And we discussed it, we were not happy that they didn't show up the first time to ask for a carry. Now they're not showing up again. You're saying, like, if we reject it, there's going to be fees. What if, I mean, what would happen if we reject it? Say they were here and we rejected it, what fees would they have anyway? They'd have to revert, what are they going to do? If they already built the structure that was not,
They would have to pay the filing fee and the escrow fees with the zoning board once again.
but what's the penalty? What's the penalty for doing a project that you didn't get the?
The penalty is, well, it could be enforced from a zoning perspective while the application is not submitted, but as soon as the application is submitted, enforcement is stayed until the board hears the application. But, and I just want to also point out, keep in mind that the fact that the work is complete versus, you know, yes, they're asking for variance relief after the fact, as opposed to coming in, applying, getting the approval, and then completing the work. That should not be held against the applicants. The board is to weigh the applications as they come, regardless of the exact status of the property. I know it's a bit strange, but that's how the board's decision-making process is to go.
Is there a statute for that? Because I'm just a little confused about the purpose of the board. If anyone can just go and build what they want and then come to the board and say, I need a variance, I built it. Like, that's kind of I feel
Well,
that's
we
very
could- we-
sticky.
We can make them tear it down.
We can also turn them down and
Right.
make them tear it down, or
No, I'm
if they
just- I'm
refuse
just
to
saying that-
tear it down, the zoning officer cites them and they go to court.
Correct.
Well, I was going to say, could we give them a hard stop? I mean, you are coming in August 5th, and if you haven't figured out what your plans are going forward, you can come in again a second time when you do, but you got to talk to us about this.
That's an option.
That's an option.
Yep.
I make a motion, we do that.
Second.
Do they have an attorney involved?
No.
Don't believe
So
so.
you would be talking to them?
Sure.
Okay. Is that an agreed consent? Do we need a motion to do that, or?
We have the motion from Mr. Nelson and a second from Mr. Kieran. So I'll
But you
do-
add the condition of the,
Can I just add, I just want to hear that one more time.
Yeah,
What
what
are
is
we-
the-
What are we proposing to do?
Well, I mean, what they've been saying is, oh, we may want to ask for other stuff in addition to the initial proposal. And what I'm saying is, on August 5th, they show up, and if they don't have final round 2 with them, then they just got to deal with us for round 1.
well,
And
in
they'll
other
have to come
words,
back a
this will be
second time for
this will
round
be
2.
their final hearing on this application.
Yes.
And if they don't, we would then, if they don't show or they don't have.
Yeah,
you know,
if they don't show, the board could dismiss the matter at that time because they would fail to prosecute their case. If they do show up and they don't have the plans ready for any additional work or variances, then the board would only hear them as to the current plans, and if they wanted to go for that additional relief in the future, they would submit a new application.
You said it so much better.
Yeah, as long
I
as
tried.
it's explained that way to them, I
Yeah,
can
they
support
need
that.
to be relayed.
Yeah.
For sure.
But it needs
Did
to
we
be
just
clear.
add that to the motion?
Yes.
We just added that to the motion.
Is this specific?
Is that okay?
Yeah, I have a question. Is this specific to this case, or always, you can only carry 3 times for other cases?
There's no limit. The
There's no
board-
limit.
the
Okay, so we're
board-
just putting a limit on this actual
Correct.
application? Okay.
Yes,
That's our prerogative.
yes.
Because we're a little unhappy with them.
And maybe it's implicit, but can we make sure this gets in writing to them, just so that there's no confusion?
Yes, our attorney will make sure that they get it.
Okay.
And knowing Andy, I'll probably get a copy along with everybody else. Okay, there is a motion with the additional information that Andy will add. We have a
We have a
motion
second.
and a second?
Yep,
Then we need a roll call.
sure, okay. Mr. Yuko?
Yes.
Mr. Nelson?
Yes.
Ms. Zahn?
Yes.
Mr. Kieran?
Yes.
Mr. Malay?
Yes.
Ms. Toth?
Yes.
Chairman Steiner?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay, next one is Bristol Myers Squibb, which was supposed to be here today, but they're not. We asked them a lot of questions that they answered apparently in front of the planning board, but not in front of us. And they have to get all that information back together again to be able to present it to us, and they were not ready tonight, as I understand it. They have asked for
August 5th,
August 5th. Fun night on August 5th.
yes.
I found that doesn't fall into the same case as these other folks. They're diligently following up and trying to get everything we've asked for. So I would hope that we would be willing to give BMS the opportunity to get their case together on August 5th. And we'll look for a motion to do so.
Yes, so moved.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Aye. I'll make a second.
Okay.
Okay.
We need a
Sure.
roll.
Mr. Yuko?
Yes.
Mr. Nelson?
Yes.
Ms. Zahn?
Yes.
Mr. Kieran?
Yes.
Mr. Malay?
Yes.
Ms. Toth?
Yes.
Chairman Steiner?
Yes.
The motion carries.
I'm going to handle this, but I will be excused on this case, which is 177 West End Avenue. I was the last time it came up, and I will be again. But they have, if you would explain what they've asked for and where we are with it?
Sure. So they're located in a floodplain, so they're having some trouble, I guess, coming up with a plan that will work. So right now, what they told me is that they have made some changes to the original plan, including removing the garage addition, and they've eliminated the rear two-story expansion. They're presenting a carport that will not impact NJDEP approval. So I guess they need some more time to just kind of get everything together a little further.
So they're making significant changes.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
should we require them to renotice again? I know they renoticed once already, but should we do it again?
So if those changes impact the variance relief that they're asking for, then new notice would be required. And I don't know exactly what the plans have and what the impact on the variances is, but it's also within the board's discretion to require that new notice if you feel the changes are significant enough.
When you say if it's changing the variances they're asking for,
So
does that include reducing the number of variances they're asking for?
if everything is entirely being reduced, then no, it would not be required, but if
Okay.
there's any excess or any new variances that were
Yeah,
previously
because I know,
listed.
unfortunately, this has come up with the whole port cochere thing, that carports are prohibited, so that would probably be a new variance.
Ah, yes.
I feel so sorry for these people.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think should at least the carport, yep.
Yeah, because you're going from a garage to a carport, so
they're probably trying to use the garage space for their house.
maybe.
I mean, I hate to make them do it again, because they were nice enough to they agreed to renotice once already, but at least according to my notes, as I have my notes anyway.
What's the advice of our attorney?
Well, we would need a motion to
Carry
carry it
with notice.
Just
with
the way- with
whatever decision you want to make on the notice.
Would it be possible to have a conversation with them about that?
To
That the
confirm, right?
carport, unfortunately, the carport would require renoticing, and based on that,
Do they
they
want
can
to?
decide if they're renoticing?
What kind of
Yeah.
variance is a carport? Is that a D variance? 'Cause it
No,
doesn't
it's,
matter.
just because our code specifically says carports are prohibited, it's considered a C variance.
I think it'd be
I'd
fair
I'd
to,
have to double check on whether that, but it would be a separate variance from what they've asked for, which it does sound to me like would require a new notice if it wasn't ever listed before in the notices.
I was gonna say, I think it'd be fair to have that conversation because they're wrestling with some challenges here and they may come up with some other creative ideas,
Yeah,
so
so-
why continue to go through this process?
We can say that our motion is without notice unless the applicants look to, add that carport and require additional variances, in which case legally they're compelled to provide new notice.
I'm going to throw something out here. Wouldn't the zoning officer let them know that carports are not allowed? So
Yes.
we wouldn't even have to go down that route? More like a technical review, like maybe the applicant should meet with the technical review committee, because it is such a challenging project down there, and say, this is what we're looking at, and then the zoning officer could say, well, that's not allowed, so don't even go down that road.
Well,
That's gonna take
They
more
can
time.
always ask for the relief.
Of course they can, but I think if the zoning officer guides them a little bit, if that's the only option, then you apply for the relief. If there's something else they can do.
We don't have a zoning officer right now.
Well, don't we have an agency that's covered for them?
We have a consultant.
Yeah,
yes.
consultant. Yeah. So somebody's doing it. It's just a thought. I don't know if that's something.
Somebody could do it, yeah.
Yeah, if we want to go down that road or not. I would just hate to see these people go, oh, we're going to do this, and then we hit them with the application fees again, and then we tell them, well, carports aren't allowed, and it's like, it's almost like we're, maybe I'm being too lenient, but the other side
I
of the
think
coin
it's
is like,
a catch-22, because
Yeah.
then the city is kind of doing the consulting for them, like they probably need to hire somebody that's going to look at our code and make sure that they're asking the questions as opposed to
Their
us
architect
driving the
has done a
answers.
lot of work in
Yeah.
Summit
Mhm.
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, their architect should know this.
Their architect has done a lot of work in Summit.
Who's their architect again? I forget.
What was the reason why they got left the idea of doing
It's
the
from out
garage.
of Berkeley Heights, and I can't,
It sounded like it was the NJDEP
GRI,
approval.
I don't know what that is. James.
No, that's not so.
You brought it, okay.
I found it.
Because I know 107, just up the street a bit, that was my grandfather's house. I sold it to the people who are there now, and they built a garage in the back of the property.
Well, they have a drain in the back, and that might be, I think that's what they
It's
were
on the
seeking.
same side.
Yeah.
It's on the same side of the street.
It might be the way the stream runs in the back, maybe it's closer to the house than your grandfather's, who know, I mean, who knows, we don't know. But apparently it's a flood zone issue. So, and that goes DEP.
Yeah, but 107's in the flood zone too.
Yeah, they
Can
wanted
we
to
defer
discharge to
this
the
until
stream.
our second July meeting?
And I think that
Yeah.
is hard to
Pick it
do.
up then after
We
we've talked to it?
have to make a motion tonight, since it's on the agenda tonight, and it was carried until tonight, so.
Okay, just trying to figure out a way we can talk to them in between.
But this one's for September, right? This one's being carried to
Well,
September.
Andy, what would you recommend, based on what you're hearing?
So, like I said before, we could say it's being carried without notice unless the plans change to the extent where a new variance is required, and legally, they have to provide notice at that time.
Yeah.
And let them know that carport
Yeah.
is one of those
And then
things
they
that would
can make that
require new
decision.
notice.
And the
Yes.
date they're going to is,
September 4th.
yeah,
I recommend we follow our attorney's advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes,
agree
yes.
with that.
Yes, to paraphrase Mr. Nelson here, I make a motion to do what he said.
Second?
Okay, sorry.
you get the right code.
Okay. Mr. Yuko?
Yes.
Mr. Nelson?
Yes.
Ms. Zahn?
Yes.
Mr. Curran?
Yes.
Mr. Malay?
Yes.
Ms. Toth?
Yes.
Chairman Steiner?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay, there are resolutions for memorialization.
Can I ask a question about notices? So they only get a notice when they file the application, they have to send out the notices. Is there a date? At that point, they don't have the date for the hearing? Or they do?
No,
They'll-
they do.
They're provided the date, then they send the notice at least 10 days ahead of that date to all the property owners within 200 feet and all the required parties, that there will be a hearing on whatever the date is.
And then they carry
And
it.
from
they-
there, the board can decide to carry it without further notice, as long as it's during a public hearing.
So every time they carry, they're not getting new notices?
Unless
right?
the board requires it, correct.
Okay, so, I mean, technically, you could get a notice and say, oh, I'm really interested, in I want to speak up at the board, and you don't know, you're never notified that it keeps getting carried and carried. I mean,
Well,
it's
you're
almost like you
supposed to be
get.
here. You're supposed to be here the first night it comes up. And then if it's carried, you learn that from our resolution.
And it's also listed on the website, the dates where it was scheduled and then carried to a new date.
And usually people with interest in the applications, they do end up either coming to City Hall or calling me, so they are in communication with us.
Okay, so like, some of the ones that are last minute carries, that stuff it's posted on the website?
I posted on the
right away?
website the next day. Mhm.
Okay. And what order are they on the website? Are they,
It's
I
not,
was like trying to search, like you can't
Yeah.
search as nothing.
yeah, it needs to be kind of revamped a little bit. I used to take them off, but now I've been told to kind of just leave them on there so that everyone could kind of look through them. But what I could do is I could sort it in a way where the ones that are going to be heard are at the top, and then I'll move them around.
Thank you.
Thank
No
you.
problem. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to do the resolutions for memorialization,
Yes.
starting with 235 Oak Ridge.
Yes, so first we have 235 Oak Ridge Avenue, that's block 5105, lot 4, ZB-24-2239, Marcus, what is her name? I
And
think,
the people who
the
can
wrong
vote
name.
are,
hold on, I'm sorry.
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline, yeah, I don't know why, it auto-corrected to Jacques on here, and I knew that wasn't right, but anyway. Marcus and Jacqueline Ricciani. The eligible voting members are Chairman Steiner, Vice Chairman Loikitz, Mr. Curran, Mr. Malay, Ms. Toth, Mr. Feskins, and Mr. Chanchuli. Can I have a motion to approve?
Moved.
So,
Okay, and then I'll take, was that Mr. Malay?
Yes.
Okay. Chairman Steiner?
Yes.
Mr. Curran?
Yes.
Mr. Malay?
Yes.
Ms. Toth?
Yes.
Mr. Chanchuli?
Yes.
The motion carries. The next one I have is 2 Kings Hill Court. That's Block 3005, Lot 21, ZB-24-2241, Aaron and Lindsay Britt Bell. The eligible voting members are Chairman Steiner, Vice Chairman Loiketz, Mr. Malay, Ms. Toth, and Mr. Chanchuli. Can I have a motion for approval
So moved.
and a second?
Second.
Okay. Chairman Steiner,
Yes.
Mr. Curran,
I don't think I was going around.
I had, oh, no, you're right. Okay, not Mr. Curran. Mr. Malay,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
Mr. Chanchuli,
Yes.
the motion carries. The last one we have is 15 Caldwell Avenue, that's Block 3602, Lot 8, ZB-22-2132-2. Robert and Marina Avedizian. Our eligible voting members are Chairman Steiner, Vice Chairman Loiketz, Mr. Curran, Mr. Malay, Ms. Toth, Mr. Feskins, and Mr. Chanchuli. Can I have a motion
So moved.
and a second?
Second?
Okay. Chairman Steiner,
Yes.
Mr. Curran,
Yes.
Mr. Malay,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
Mr. Chanchuli.
Yes.
The motion carries. So finally, I have our minutes for approval. We have 2 sets of minutes. Our first set is for the special meeting that was held on June 10th. We will exclude those who were excused from that evening, which were Mr. Yuko, Ms. Chifo, Mr. Curran, Mr. Malay, and Mr. Chanchuli. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion, move.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. The next one we have are minutes for June 18th. We'll exclude the members who were excused, which were Ms. Zahn and Mr. Feskins. Can I have a motion?
So moved?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries.
Our next meeting is July 15th.
Move to adjourn.
Okay, and a second?
I'll second that one.
All right, I have 3 seconds. We're going to take Mr. Curran.
Pick one. We're not going to debate it. All those in favor?
All those in
Good
favor?
night.
Aye.
There we go.
Did you
Okay.
Did you have the most recent 15 Caldwell or no?
I have no
Wait till
idea.
August
All right, so
5th.
then sign mine.
That's gonna be the one we make up for it. August